This is KRP, Ken's Random Podcast.
At the end of the interview with Gibby, I will have some highlights from a Cajun slam. He caught these fish in not perfect conditions. Joining me today is my friend John Gibby, who prefers to go by the name Gibby. I met John, or Gibby, on my friend's table that I do every Tuesday at noon. It's kind of an international table. Where do you live, John?
Right now, Mandeville.
Mandeville. And where are you from originally?
Really all over Louisiana, but probably the best center place is Baton Rouge.
And the reason that I'm talking to Gibby is he has got a channel that I never thought I would watch anything on YouTube that had to do with fishing. And I'm like, well, I'll check out what John's doing there. And I went, I'm like, wow, this is so cool, man. It is zen beyond belief. First off, the scenery you capture at sunrise is something I probably never will see because I don't do sunrise anymore. But anyway, it always looks great. And your tone of voice, as I've noticed on our regular Zoom and even before this, that your voice is pretty soft and you're soft-spoken. And it's like, here's John talking about fish. And I'm like, this is so relaxing. So I've watched quite a few episodes and I love it. And I highly recommend the episode that we're going to do today and every Catch You Later episode that's on YouTube. If you are a fisherman, you'll want to check out John's YouTube channel because he's got some amazing scenery, some amazing fish. And what I like about this, John, is you don't just go out and throw a pole in the water. You tell me why you're doing, how you're doing, what the temperature is like. And it's like, as a non-fisherman, I just never thought of it that way. I thought of it as you put a pole out there and the fish come and you take the fish home. But that's not what you do. And I really appreciate the fact that, you've got a graphic most of the time showing water conditions and things like that. How did you get into fishing at this level?
Oh, at this level, that's a really good question. It really comes from the fact that I tore my ACL. I'm 42 now, and when I was about 36, I destroyed my right knee. And up to that point, my hobbies were skateboarding, soccer. I was very athletic. I just couldn't do it anymore. And more than anything, it's not so much that I can't do it anymore. I'm just scared of going through rehab again.
Right.
So I had always fished as a kid. One of my earliest photos of me is me in a little bateau with a little toy fishing pole. But I never fished this seriously until then. And it was just my way of being outside and continuing to be active while not, putting all that pressure on my knee.
Some people might think that fishing is not an athletic sport, but if they watch you casting repeatedly all day, it is definitely athletic. And because of temperature out there, it's blistering hot most of the time when you get out there, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's not the same as playing football, let's say, but it's definitely a physical activity. You're standing up for 8 or 10 hours. You're in the conditions that you're in, which in summertime in Louisiana are pretty warm. And yeah, the amount of casts you make, when I edit these videos, I'm cutting 8 or 10 hours down into maybe 15 or 20 minutes, and you see how many casts I make in those 15 minutes, just extrapolate that out to 10 hours. You're active the whole time you're out there.
I've noticed this, that you cast 3 times, and if you don't catch anything, you move on.
Yeah, that's right. You can't sit around and just waste time. Some other YouTubers call it the time vampire, but it's very easy to lose track of time out there. I refer to it as playing the slot machine at a casino. I mean, that's really what you're doing. You're fishing. Every cast is another pull in that lever, and you're just waiting for it to hit. And you could just sit there all day waiting for it to hit. So you got to tell yourself something to make you move on.
I will have to send you a link to a podcast that I just heard all about dopamine. And
yes.
Yeah, slot machine and fishing, it's pretty much the same. But you don't seem to really care what you catch. You're going to go out and you specifically are targeting something. Like one day it was all you were looking for trout. The next time you were looking for this. And you might keep something that you were not looking for, but in most cases, you put it back in. And first off, I do not get the catch and release thing. I'm like, if I'm going to stand out there and sweat and spend money to buy a boat and stuff, I want to eat those suckers. But you bring home just what you need. You don't bring back everything. I like that. I like that.
Yeah, that's actually why the channel started. I mean, I was getting pretty good at fishing, I would say, but this was around the time of COVID. Everybody was sitting inside, and if you were like me, I was just watching fishing and outdoor videos because I just wanted to be outside. And I noticed when I would watch fishing related content from, let's say, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, they all did catch and release. But when I would watch Louisiana, they kept everything. And I thought, no, there needs to be space in here for people that do catch and release, because what a lot of people may not know about Louisiana, particularly inshore fishing, we have the most lax regulations out of anyone on the Gulf Coast by a large margin.
Hmm.
So, we just changed our limit of speckled trout to, I believe it's 15 per person. 15 fish per person is a lot of fish.
Hmm.
Nobody really needs 15 of these fish. And it used to be 25. Texas or somewhere like that, I think it's 5 is the whole limit. So we have 3 times per person the limit of fish. And we don't really need that, right? And I want to encourage people to let fish back, because when you let them back, they'll be back there when you go back the next time. So yeah, I think it's very important to not really abuse this resource that we have, because it's really one of a kind.
Now, I've noticed in my neighborhood, the subdivision I'm in does not have a retention pond, but all the ones that have sprung up around us have got retention ponds. And you'll see men, women, children, and they're catching them and putting them back in. I think it's a great training ground for kids to learn how to respect nature. And once they learn the skill there, they can go out and catch some fish and keep them, I guess.
Right. And another reason I don't keep very many is I make a YouTube channel. I'm out there almost every week, so I don't need to to keep that many. If I only went, once every quarter or so, I would
Right.
probably keep a hold of it. But I don't need that, and that's a really important thing, especially, where I live in Mandeville, really part of the greater New Orleans area, and the Gulf is right outside my front door,
Right.
so
Right.
everybody there, which is my primary audience, they fish a lot. And I just want to get the bug in the air. Like, hey, if you just put them back, they'll still be there when you go the next time. And that's better for everybody.
I was really intrigued by the descriptions you gave of the fish and conditions and how you planned what you were going to fish, or maybe the next cast you were going to move from one area to another because you saw fish jumping or you saw birds here. And I was just intrigued by that. It's like, wow, breaks it down to science almost. That's great. I love it.
When I grew up fishing, we would fish in North Louisiana, so a very different environment. And we pretty much knew where we would find fish, but we could find them anywhere because there was nobody else fishing. So that made it pretty easy. With this, it really can be a science. And in fact, AI tools are blowing up and everywhere. I track everything I do using AI, and I'm now able to go in and type and make a predictive analysis of how my day might look, which has been pretty interesting.
Ooh, I did not know that. Now, John, we did not mention your occupation. So you are occupied with AI type things, correct?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I'm in software. Probably one day my role will be replaced by AI. But for now, I use it in pretty much everything I do every day. And you mentioned we first met in Table Francais, and I talk to ChatGPT every night
Yeah.
in French.
And your French is improving every time we talk on Tuesday. I think it just gets a little bit better because you work at it, just like fishing, you work at it. Tell me about flounder. You caught one the other day and it was beautiful. And then
Oh
you
my
dropped
gosh!
it. You
And then I
dropped it. I
dropped it.
I would
Yeah.
have just died if that happened to me, man. Do you catch a
Okay.
lot of flounder?
No. So this is kind of a gap in my knowledge of inshore fishing, I guess you might say. I don't know historically the areas that I fish, what they were like. I didn't fish them when I was a kid. I really only started fishing them, maybe 8 years ago. So I don't know if flounder were ever really abundant. I have a hunch they became far less abundant after the Deepwater Horizon oil spill, because a lot of that moved into the areas that I fish in now.
Wow.
So what I can say is I'm catching more and more of them. I mean, I've been fishing heavily inshore for I guess about 6 years now, and I've maybe call it 20 flounder total, but more than half of them have been in the last year.
But I know you do pick up a lot of speckled trout, and you pick up,
Absolutely.
was it snapper?
Redfish,
Yeah, redfish.
redfish is my primary target.
And speckled trout. I'm like, ooh, that sounds good. I have people that have donated some speckled trout to me, and it's always been great, always been great. And you know what's weird is as a child and even as a young adult, I did not eat fish. I did not like the oily fish taste. Lo and behold, now with so much farming of fish and just different varieties, you can eat fish that don't taste like fish.
Yeah, exactly. That fishy taste. I mean, it actually comes from the environment that the fish was in.
Yeah.
So a lot of that you'll get from like catfish and freshwater fish. You get that weird fishy taste. But these inshore fish that I catch, I mean, you say speckled trout's good, flounder. I mean, that it is delicious.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, oh yeah. So yeah, and then if you can go offshore and you can get stuff like snapper and stuff like that, I mean, now you're getting into real high quality food.
Well, let's talk about going offshore because I don't know if you've ever fished offshore, but I know a couple of times you've tried to get further and further out, like the Chandeleur Islands, and you had an instant recently where you were having to call for help, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was something, man. So, I've already mentioned I'm a skateboarder. I still am, as much as I don't do it anymore. And there's something about that hobby, sport, whatever you want to call it. We are the type of people that like to push things kind of as far as it'll go. And I'm doing that. My little bateau, it's 17 feet. It's got a 60 horsepower motor. It's really not what you would take offshore, but I did it, and now I've done it twice, and I will do it maybe one more time, and after that, I'll be done until my
Yeah.
kid's grown. Yeah, that first time I was coming back. I don't know how far you want me to go into this, so stop me if I get too involved. But the long and short of this is I had forgotten because I never go on these long runs in my boat that my fuel pump is weak. So, as it pulls from the fuel tank, it creates a vacuum, and
Right.
fuel pumps are supposed to be strong enough to overcome that vacuum, but this one isn't. And I just completely forgot about that. So I'm going, and there's a rainstorm developing to the east, and I see it, and I can see and hear the lightning. And I'm like, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. And then the boat dies. So I had a backup tank. I hooked that up, and it went for another maybe 15 minutes, and it died. So I had to mayday. And while I was maydaying, everything's going through your head. It's hard to describe. And then suddenly some clairvoyance appeared, and I was like, the fuel pump's weak. Just vent the tank. And so I just went and opened the tank, and you could hear all the air go. Shh. And I was like, okay, that's it. Cranked the boat up and was able to go. And that was definitely an experience. And you have to go through protocol and everything when you do a mayday. I mean, Coast Guard takes that seriously, as they should. And,
Yeah. I could tell the look on your face and what you recounted the story then and now. That harrowing experience, much less for somebody like myself who would do something like that and not have any idea what the heck was going on. So, first off, let's get this straight. First off, you got in a 17-foot boat with a 60 horsepower motor, but you've also got the trolling motor that you remote control. And you have two cameras, if I remember correctly, one on the back of the boat that gets the overall, and then you've got the GoPro on your chest that gets the fish.
yeah.
I'm so impressed by the quality of what you turn out. And what I like about your videos, they're instructional. And as I said, it just is zen. It just relaxes me to watch them. And I mean, 11 o'clock at night, I'm zing out and I'm watching you in the boat. I'm serious. And I think that's really great. Catch You Later is where to check it out on YouTube. And you've got some great merchandise, t-shirts and caps and everything else. I urge people to go watch Catch You Later on YouTube. And I'll post the link up here so that we can get that. John, so is it Catch You Later? It's like catch YA.
Catch you later. Yeah, it's what when I was a skateboarder, how we say goodbye to each other. All right, man.
Yeah,
I'll catch you later. And
yeah, yeah.
yeah, so I thought it applied, and so far so good.
I worked at a radio station. The call letters were KXKC, and many times it was like KXKC ya, So
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
understand that. Thank you for joining me today, Gibby. And it's hard for me to say Gibby when I know your first name is John. It's like, wow, crazy, crazy. But I was in radio. I've used so many fake names that I forget which one I'm using. So it's been a pleasure having you on, and I will be
Likewise.
promoting the heck out of this. And oh, how many subscribers do you have now?
Just under 1,600.
So we're trying to get you to 2,000.
I would love to get to 2,000. That's the goal. Yeah.
So I'm going to ask all of my YouTube, Facebook friends, go to Catch You Later and just become a subscriber. Get him to 2,000. I'm not getting paid anything. I just want to see Gibby succeed. Catch you later, John. Thanks for being with me today.
Catch you later.
This is KRP, Ken's Random Podcast.
A guide once told me that high tide fishing is useless.
Got him. There's one. There's one. There's a fish. There's one. There's one. There's one. Oh, got ourselves a Cajun slam.
Yeah, I'm not sure I agree.